This is Overtoun Bridge. Hundreds of dogs have voluntarily jumped off it, and a lot of them died. Tucked away in West Dunbartonshire, Scotland, Overtoun Bridge is not your typical stone archway. This seemingly ordinary bridge holds a dark secret that has baffled locals and visitors for over a century. Brace yourselves, my friends, for the infamous dog suicide phenomenon that has given Overtoun Bridge its eerie reputation. According to the New York Times, since the 1950s, the time of the first recorded incident ever, over 300 dogs have jumped off the bridge. Some tabloids even say that as many as 600 did. Now, I know what you're thinking. Wait, dogs willingly jumping off a bridge? That's absurd. Well, you're not alone. Scientists, animal behavior experts, and supernatural enthusiasts have attempted to unravel this enigma. Could it be magnetic fields, the scent of local wildlife, or perhaps a paranormal presence? No conclusive answers have been found so far, leaving the bridge shrouded in mystery. But fear not, brave explorers, Overtoun Bridge offers much more than just ghostly tales. Nestled within the tranquil countryside, this area is a nature lover's paradise. Step away from the bridge and you'll find yourself surrounded by lush greenery, captivating woodland trails, and the melodious symphony of chirping birds. It's the perfect spot for a peaceful hike or a serene picnic with friends and family. But hey, it's not just a doom and gloom place. Overtoun Bridge has more to offer than just spooky tales. Nowadays, the house nearby is a center for hope and healing, and they even have a tea room where you can grab some tasty snacks, hot and cold drinks, and freshly baked cakes. Plus, during the summer, there are guided walks on the house grounds and hiking trails in the area. So, there's plenty to explore and enjoy beyond the ghostly stories. Overtoun Bridge is a picturesque but somewhat infamous structure located near the village of Milton in West Dunbartonshire, Scotland. From a distance, it seems as if the ornate Victorian bridge built in 1895 is a mere extension of the driveway of an adjoining 19th century manor built in Dumbarton by a wealthy Scottish industrialist, James White. The manor has that classic Scottish style with turrets, fancy stonework, and a grand facade. The Whites, who owned the whole Overtoun estate, lived in that mansion for several decades, but when James White passed away in 1898, the property changed hands a few times until it was eventually sold to the Overtoun House Trust in 1938. During World War II, they turned the mansion into a maternity hospital for war evacuees. Pretty cool, huh? But here's where things get weird. Every year, without fail, a dog would be spotted jumping off that bridge. Golden retrievers, Labradors, Springer Spaniels, Collies, Border Collies, you name it, they've all taken the plunge. There seemed to be no connection between the cases. There was no rhyme or reason to it. The dogs jumped off during the summer, winter, spring, or fall, day or night, whether their owners are nearby or far away. Naturally, folks started scratching their heads and asking why the heck this was happening. What's making these dogs leap off the bridge? And also, naturally, the first theory that came to mind was something supernatural, spooky, right? One of the people who studied all this was Paul Owens, a teacher of religion and philosophy in Glasgow, and he actually grew up near that crazy bridge. Well, guess what? He went and wrote a whole book about the whole dog jumping mystery. Here goes the supernatural stuff. After digging deep for 11 whole years, this man is totally convinced that there's a ghost pulling the strings behind all this dog-leaping madness. Can you believe it? Picture this, sitting outside a pub in Glasgow, all serious and confident, declaring that it's the ghost responsible. Rain's coming down a bit, but that doesn't stop him from making his bold statement. This theory of his is pretty popular among the locals. They've grown up hearing stories about this White Lady of Overtoun. Apparently, she's the grieving widow of John White, James's son. Other residents of Dumbarton fill us in on the details. They say this lady lived all alone, mourning her husband for over 30 long years after he passed away back in 1908. And get this, the locals claim they've spotted her ghost hanging around the place. People say they've seen her in windows and walking around the grounds. Spooky, huh? I don't know about you, but that's enough to give me the chills. Believe it or not, this whole leaping dog situation even got its own episode on an American TV series called The Unexplained Files. Can you imagine that? It's such a mind-boggling phenomenon that someone went ahead and dedicated a whole book to exploring it. Talk about diving deep into the weird and wonderful. Now here's where things get interesting. While some folks are all about supernatural explanations, there are others who think there's a more down-to-earth reason behind this strange dog behavior. It's like a whole debate going on. Back in 2010, animal behaviorist named David Sands decided to dive into the mystery and figure out what was really going on. And guess what? He ruled out the idea that these dogs are intentionally offing themselves. Thank goodness for that. Right? So, Sands did some experiments right there at the bridge, and what he found is pretty fascinating. Turns out dogs, especially the ones with long noses, are attracted to the smell of the critters hanging out below the bridge. That makes sense, right? I mean, if you're a dog and you catch a whiff of some mammals just hanging around, you might be tempted to investigate. The scientists came up with this theory that the dogs don't quite understand that the path changes from solid ground to a bridge towering over a deep gorge. From their perspective, it's all the same. Plus, there are all these enticing smells wafting through the air, drawing them in like a moth to a flame. Can't blame the pooches for being curious, can we? Most researchers who've looked into this Overtoun Bridge craziness actually agree with Sands' findings. They say it's all about the sense, my friend. See, dogs have an incredible sense of smell, like 100,000 times better than us humans. No wonder they're always sniffing everything in sight. So it makes sense that they'd be attracted to those strong odors coming from the minks chilling in the lush gorge below the bridge. Think about it, dogs will happily bring their owners all sorts of surprises, like trash, dead animal carcasses, and yes, even feces. It's all part of their natural instinct to follow those powerful smells. So it's safe to say that when they catch a whiff of those minks, it's like an invitation they can't resist. To make things worse, a tragic incident went down at Overtoun. It was back in October 1994 when a paranoid schizophrenic named Kevin Moy did something unimaginable. He actually threw his own 2-week-old son Owen off the bridge to his death. I could not even imagine anything like that. He believed his own flesh and blood was some sort of devil incarnation because of a birthmark. Absolutely heartbreaking, isn't it? Moy had some seriously dark thoughts. He chose the Overtoun Bridge as the location for his horrific act because of its association with dark spirits that supposedly go all the way back to the Druidic days. And get this, after he committed this awful act of murder, he tried to end his own life multiple times by jumping off the bridge and slashing his wrists. Eventually, he was detained and taken to a mental health hospital. Anyhow, the local authorities have stepped up and taken measures to address the issue and ensure the safety of at least the animals in the area. They've put up signs warning dog owners to keep their furry buddies on a leash while crossing the bridge. Safety first, right? But hey, despite all the darkness and tragedy surrounding this place, the Overtoun Bridge still manages to capture the interest and curiosity of people from all over the globe. I mean, who can resist an intriguing history and an enigmatic reputation? It's like a magnet for those seeking a touch of mystery and fascination. Why don't you get attracted to that magnet too? Reason number one would be to see a stunning Victorian structure with ornate details, the charming landscape with lush greenery, rolling hills, and the tranquil River Clyde flowing beneath the bridge. Reason number two would be to touch its mysterious reputation, enigmas, and tales of the supernatural, immerse in a rich tapestry of folklore and intrigue. It's an opportunity to engage in lively discussions and ponder the mysteries that continue to surround the bridge. So, dear adventurers, let the whispers of Overtoun Bridge stir your curiosity and ignite your imagination. As you traverse it, you are not just stepping onto an architectural marvel or delving into the realm of the mysterious. You are entering a realm where nature and the unknown dance hand in hand, beckoning you to explore, dream, and be inspired.